and Andrew already called me out on it. I made a sucky quiz with the wrong answers. We're going to review that. So if you're looking at that, let's look at, they're called box and whisker plots. And then we're actually going to make you figure out how to do it. So let's say, Andrew, what's the worst test score you've gotten this year? I'm going to go back and forth between the two of you.
Oh, no.
You can make it up too. It doesn't have to be honest.
I'd say I got a 40% on a bell work.
Okay.
Probably.
You got a 40% on a bell work. Okay, Mackenzie, what's the best score you've gotten on a test all year or quiz? You can make it up too.
100.
100, duh. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's fill it in the middle. So let's say most of your test scores, you guys are good humans. So let's say most of your test scores were 82s. So Andrew, pick me a number between 82 and 100.
83.
Okay. Mackenzie, pick me another number between 82 and 100.
92.
92. Okay, sounds good. Okay, Andrew, pick me a number between 40 and 82.
41.
41. Really? Okay, Mackenzie, pick me another number between 41 and 82.
63.
Okay, perfect. So here's actually where you guys are getting your number. So if we were to make, here's your test scores for the year. If we were to make a box and whisker plot on this, it kind of would look like this. So we know, let's just do our 5-number summary first. So what's our minimum here? What was the lowest test score we got?
40.
Yep, so our minimum would be 40. Let's do Q1, and I'm actually going to show you guys how to figure it out. So before I've kind of been like, it's okay. Let's kind of go through and figure out our 5-number summaries. So here's our minimum. You okay that 100 would be our maximum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we know our median is the number in the middle, right? So our median is the middle. So you see how 82 is our middle? Because it's got 3 numbers on either side of it. So there's our median. Okay, now the quartiles, remember those just divide it into equal quarters or equal parts. So the quartiles here are actually super easy. Wouldn't a quarter of our data be right in between these two numbers? You guys see how that would be like the quarter, and then the other quarter would be right in between these two numbers. So all we're doing is dividing our numbers into fourths. So see how here's our median. This has 2 numbers, this has 2 numbers, this has 2 numbers, this has 2 numbers. So see how we divided it into 4 equal categories? That's how we're getting our numbers. So how could we figure out what's in the middle of 41 and 63? Hi, whoever you are.
Hello.
Hi,
You're
Kate.
late. Kate, you're late.
You weren't here.
Oh no.
You what?
I woke up like
Oh yeah,
8
but
minutes
you
ago.
would like to sleep till there's no tomorrow. Okay, so if I wanted to figure out what's in the middle of 41 and 63, I'm actually just going to find the average of it. So if I do 41 plus 63, divide it by 2, let's see what we get. You get 52. So that is going to be your quarter 1 there. You guys see how we figured it out? So it's halfway between everything. Okay, do your quarter 3 here. It's going to be in the middle of those. So I'm going to add up 83 and 92. Divide it by 2. You okay that one's going to be what? I was hoping some of you guys could beat me.
Oh, I don't have a calculator on me.
Oh, so you're just watching your teacher be a genie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's finish this then. So do you guys kind of see now how it's easier to get all of our numbers? So Kate, what we were just talking about is we're doing a review of box and whisker from last block, but we're talking more about how we actually got the Q1 and the Q3. So the minimum and the maximum are easy. The medium is also easy because it's the middle. And then the other ones are just the middle of what's left. So like, here's the middle of this side. We found the average of it. Here's the middle of this side. So let's actually make our graph now, guys. So the first part of your homework tonight or your online assignment is just to do a review assignment on this. It's the same graph. Oh, no, it's a different graph of what you had last time, but you've just got to explain some things about it. So you know me, I like to cheat. Are you okay if I just do it like this? Call that 40. Let's do 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so are we okay that that's 40? Put my point right there. 52 would be about right here. I'm just labeling them specifically. We know my median is 82. So let's see here. There's 60, there's 70, there's 80. So my median is going to be a little bit more. My Q3 was 87.5. Oh. So that's going to go right about there. And then my maximum is a hundo. So that's going to go right about there. So you guys see how I kind of created my box and whisker plot?
Yeah.
This one's actually neater than what we did last class, so that's good. Okay, so it looks like this. Do you see how there's 4 parts of the graph? Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. Each part of those graphs represent what part of the data? Do you remember? It's a quarter. How much is a quarter in terms of cents?
25 cents.
Mm-hmm. So if each one of those is a quarter, each part represents 25% of the data. So each part is 25% of your data. Okay, so the questions are, like the first question on your review today is like, what's the maximum? What's the minimum? That's super easy. The next part says, what's the IQR? And Andrew, and actually everyone on here was really good at that. Do you guys remember how to find the IQR?
No.
Okay. So the IQR is going to be the middle 50%. So you're going to do Q3 minus Q1. So it's the middle 50%. So here's our Q3, right here.
Mm-hmm.
So our Q3, what do we say, is 87.5. So you're going to do 87.5 minus, we said our Q1 is 52. So you're going to do that. If I do 87.5 minus 52, you okay with 35.5?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? That means 50% of our data is in a range of 35.5. So there's a spread, like 50% of our numbers are 35 apart. I guess you can kind of think of it that way. So 50% of our numbers are between 0 and 35. That's all that's saying. That's the first part of your e-learning. You guys okay with that? It's totally a review from last block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Second part of your e-learning is just as easy. It's literally a 4-question matching quiz, and it's about distribution. So do you guys remember, like, maybe the day before or 2 days before we left, we talked about flattening the curve, and that's all you hear about the news right now, right? So like the curve could have been for coronavirus. It could have been like this, and here's where our hospitals could handle it. Do you guys remember seeing this graph? And we want to make it go like this so that we can have our hospitals manage it. And that's why we're staying inside and our lives are miserable, so we can flatten the curve. Okay, guess what? All of these curves are normal distribution. So let's look at it. So I want you to kind of look at these. These are all normal distribution. Do you see how they're symmetric? And it looks like about half the data is on, if I were to draw a line right here, doesn't it look like half the data is on the yellow side and half the data is on the blue side? Can you guys kind of see that? Doesn't it look like it's symmetric?
Yeah.
So that's what normal distribution is. So normal distribution is a bell curve that's centered in the middle. Do you see how it's centered in the middle? It's matching on both sides. Even this one here too, I'll do it in red. This one here too is normal because doesn't it kind of match on both sides? It's okay that it has a bigger hump, but do you see how if I were to draw a line down the middle of that hump, it matches on both sides? Okay, bravo. Here's where it gets a little confusing. So here's our next option. Our next option, what do I have next in your notes? And obviously you guys can go back and read this. I just know that we're so much better explaining things than like me being like, here's your reading, read it and understand it. That would be terrible. Okay, so here's your next one. So here's your skewed right. It's going to be backwards. You guys are going to have to tell me why you think it's backwards. So skewed right is actually going to look like this. Why do you think that's backwards?
Negative.
Well, no, what about that? It says right. Is most of the data there on the right side or the left side?
All right.
So think this is going to be more people. So this, like, let's just do it with people with coronavirus because that's the life we live in. So number of COVID-19 people. Where are there more people, on the left side of the graph or the right side of the graph?
Left side.
Yeah, aren't there more people on the left? But look, it says it's skewed right. So here's kind of how I imagine it. Imagine I was pushing from the right side. Wow, can't spell. So imagine I was pushing from the right. So can you imagine if I'm pushing from the right that all the data goes to the left?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what your quiz is going to be on. You don't need to do any math. I just want you to know what kinds of distributions it looks like. Okay, do the opposite now. So if something's skewed right, can you kind of see how it would be the opposite here? So sorry, if it's skewed left. So if something's skewed left, it would be the opposite of the one we just did. So we have a graph. It's going to be something that looks like this time.
Is that loud?
I don't hear anything other than you talking, Cade. Anyone else? Is Cade stuff loud?
No.
Yeah, I think you're okay. So do you guys see how this is skewed left? Imagine that it's being pushed from the left. So it's backwards. So it's pushed from the left, but then most of the data is on the right. Okay, what do you guys think?